Kia ora team, and welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. So I have a few articles here. I will leave them in the description. You read them, come to your own conclusions as usual. But it's looking more and more like this fight between Junior Fa and Joseph Parker is likely to happen. David Higgins came out today saying that he is expecting to be able to confirm Joseph Parker's next opponent in the next week or so. So that suggests to me that the teams have been talking, both David Higgins and Mark Cadell, the managers, and Matchroom Boxing and Lou DiBella Entertainment, the promoters for the guys. They must have made some progress to be able to say that they're looking for an announcement in the next week or so. I could be way off here. It could be Michael Hunter and Joseph Parker for all I know. But talk about that has gone a bit quiet recently. Now, the other day, Mark Cadell, Junior Fa's manager, came out with some statements basically putting a price on the fight for what Junior Fa would like. That being $1 million. And how he came to this conclusion was David Higgins is on record saying that Joseph Parker is making $2 million a fight. Now, for starters, I think that's an old statement. I think that statement was probably from when Joseph Parker was WBO champion prior to fighting Anthony Joshua. Maybe he made that when he fought Hughie Fury, maybe even a little bit more than that. I don't think he would have made $2 million fighting Razvan Kajano in New Zealand. Yeah, he made a good amount, like 13 million New Zealand dollars against Joshua and a couple of million against Dillian White, from what I hear. But since then, Joseph's fought Alexander Flores, Alex Leopold, and Shondell Winters. And Joe would have been extremely lucky to have made $1 million for any of those fights. So moving on with that same statement with Mark Cadell, he talks about Joshua versus Parker was 66 to 34%. Joe being number 2 with the WBO and Junior being number 6 is about 66 to 34%, similar percentages. Therefore, out of a $3 million purse, Junior should get $1 million. That's what we want. Verbatim on the end, that's what we want. Okay? So the calculation to me is out. It's based on an old statement from David Higgins. And for real, I don't see how there could be $3 million as a purse for this fight between them, no matter where it is. Now, it doesn't have to be in New Zealand, even though they're New Zealand fighters. I spoke about it in my previous video on this. I thought, since DAZN is launching down here in New Zealand in early May, maybe they would like to put a fight on down here to try and grab some subscriptions, maybe fork out a little bit of extra money to get a decent card, and so on and so forth. But we're in New Zealand, there isn't a lot of money in boxing down here, so I have my doubts about it. And also, David Higgins has stated recently that Sky New Zealand is still their broadcaster down here, so that kind of kills the DAZN launch subscription grab idea down here. But Joseph Parker being with Matchroom Boxing and them having some decent cards coming up in the next few months also leaves potential for them to be on an undercard of one of those events in the UK. However, I don't see the purse for the fight being much more than $1 million, maybe $1.5 million at best, and that gives Junior Fa at 34% around $500,000. The price tag that they were asking prior to Joseph Parker fighting Alexander Flores, where they were offered the fight, for 75,000, and Junior's comeback was they want 500,000. At that stage, I didn't think Junior was worth that much, and even now I don't think he's really got the resume or the hype behind him to warrant him getting paid $500,000 for a fight against Parker. However, if he just wants the percentage rather than the price tag of $1 million, I think asking 34% isn't really too much. So hopefully they've come to some sort of understanding that, okay, you can have a percentage, you're not going to get a flat fee of $1 million. End of story. That's the kind of thing that it's going to have to be to get the fight made, and I hope they can make it, since Joe has got nothing else on. Junior hasn't got anything else on right now. Junior had been in camp with Deontay Wilder preparing for Tyson Fury, so he should be reasonably fit and ready to go. Joseph wants to get back in the ring as soon as possible so he can fight at least 3 times this year. If it's a very quick turnaround, maybe on the Dillian White versus Alexander Povetkin card, it could be 4 times for Joseph Parker this year, which would be great. He's much better when he's active, but we'll see what happens. So in a nutshell, it sounds like we're going to get an announcement for Joseph Parker's next opponent in the next week or so. Junior Fa would be okay. I'd definitely watch the fight. If it's in New Zealand, I'd definitely get along to it, unless it's in the South Island. It's a bit of a travel for me. So yeah, let us know what you think. Do you think the fight's realistically going to happen? Do you think the guys are asking for too much for Junior Fa and $1 million? Or do you think 34% is actually a pretty fair price to be asking for Junior Fa? Let me know. Look forward to your comments. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. See you!